A timeless question. How did they build the pyramids? How did ancient people build the Great Pyramids? This is a question people have asked for thousands of years. We look at these giant structures. We see the huge stones. We wonder how anyone could build them with simple tools. The pyramids are a mystery. They are a testament to human ability. They show us what people can do when they work together. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for King Khufu, contains more than 2 million stone blocks. This fact alone is enough to make anyone stop and think about the amazing effort involved in its construction. The pyramids of Egypt have captured the world's imagination. They stand silently in the desert. They have watched civilizations rise and fall. As an archaeologist, I have spent my life walking in their shadows, touching their stones, and digging in the sands to find answers. People from all over the world come to see them. They are not just tombs. They are symbols of a powerful and sophisticated civilization. They make us ask big questions. For a very long time, the world believed a simple but incorrect story. People thought thousands of slaves built the pyramids. They imagined workers toiling under the whip of cruel overseers. This idea came from old Greek historians like Herodotus. It was made popular by movies and books, but archaeologists, including my team, have a different story. The builders were not slaves. They were paid Egyptian laborers. We found their city. We excavated their tombs. Slaves wouldn't be buried with honor near the king's pyramids. South of Giza, we found a large cemetery. The tombs belonged to the workers. Skeletons show signs of hard labor. Some bones had been broken and healed. That means they had medical care. A slave owner wouldn't invest in healing. Workers were buried with jars for the afterlife. Bread, beer. This matches traditional Egyptian burials. It shows respect. This evidence changes how we see the workforce. So who were they? Farmers from across Egypt. Each year the Nile flooded. The inundation was a blessing. It left rich soil on the fields. During the flood from about July to October, farmers couldn't tend crops. They came to Giza to work on the pyramids. It was a form of national service. It was also work to earn food and pay. They worked in rotating crews. Name teams like the Friends of Khufu, the Drunkards of Menkaure. This was a massive, organized system. We found papyrus logbooks. The Diary of Merer from Wadi al-Jarf is one example. It records daily tasks. It documents moving limestone from the quarry at Tura via boats to the Giza Plateau. Workers were fed. They received daily rations, bread, beer, fish. They lived in a planned city near the site, a city of thousands with bakeries, breweries, workshops. This was not a labor camp, but a complex operation run by a strong central government. The quarry, sourcing the stones for eternity. To build a mountain of stone, you must first have a source for the stone. The pyramids were built from several different types of stone, each chosen for a specific purpose. The vast majority of the blocks, the core, were limestone. This limestone was quarried right on the Giza Plateau itself. This was a brilliant logistical decision. Having the main quarry so close saved an incredible amount of time and effort. Workers did not have to transport millions of heavy blocks over long distances. They could cut them and move them a relatively short way. Cutting these massive blocks from the earth was a difficult task. The Egyptians did not have iron or steel tools. Their primary tools were made of copper and a hard stone called dolerite. Workers would use copper chisels and saws to cut into the limestone. However, copper is a soft metal and would wear down quickly. So, they used another clever method. They would cut grooves into the bedrock. Then, they would hammer wooden wedges into these grooves. They would pour water onto the wedges. The wood would absorb the water, expand, and crack the stone along the lines they had cut. It was a simple but effective technique. The journey of giants, transporting massive blocks. Once the stones were quarried, the next great challenge was to move them. Moving a 2-ton block on flat ground is hard enough. Moving a 50-ton block for hundreds of miles seems nearly impossible. Yet, the ancient Egyptians did it. Their solution was elegant and used the natural landscape. Their main highway was the Nile River. The river was the lifeblood of Egypt in every way. It watered their crops. It provided fish to eat. It served as the primary route for trade and transport. Without the Nile, the pyramids could not have been built. Granite blocks from Aswan were moved on sleds to the riverbank and loaded by sheer manpower. Then, they were carefully maneuvered onto cedar barges. These barges began the long journey north, carried by the river's current. The journey took many days. We have found remains of a harbor near the pyramids. We have found a system of canals near the pyramids. This shows the boats could bring stones very close to the construction site, especially during the flood. For moving blocks over land, the Egyptians used large wooden sleds. We have depictions of this in ancient art. The tomb painting of Jehuti-Hotep shows 172 men pulling a huge statue on a sled. In the painting, a man pours liquid onto the sand in front of the sled. Recent experiments show pouring a small amount of water onto sand makes it much easier to pull a heavy sled across it. The water makes the sand firm and reduces friction. This trick would have cut the workforce in half. Canals, harbors, sleds, wet sand. It was not about brute force alone. It was about smart solutions. Moving the stones to the base was one thing, and lifting them hundreds of feet was another. How did the Egyptians raise millions of blocks to build layer by layer? This is one of the most debated questions in Egyptology. There is no single, definitive answer written down in ancient texts. Instead, we have several compelling theories based on archaeological evidence and engineering know-how. The most widely accepted theory involves the use of ramps: straight ramp, zigzag ramp, spiral ramp. The simplest idea, a long straight ramp from ground to working level. As the pyramid rose, the ramp would need to become longer and steeper. To keep slopes manageable, a ramp to the top would be over a mile long and contain almost as much material as the pyramid itself. That seems inefficient. We have found ramp remains at smaller pyramids, so the technique existed. One popular idea: an external spiral ramp wrapping around the pyramid. That lets builders use the pyramid itself to support the ramp, saving material. It also keeps the slope steady as height increases. But an external spiral would make checking precise angles and corners very hard. Precision surveying mattered to the Egyptians, a major drawback. Imagine trying to build a perfect square while covering the corners. A newer intriguing idea: an internal ramp. Jean-Pierre Houdin's proposal: use an external ramp for the lower third, then switch to an internal corkscrew ramp for the upper levels. The internal ramp would be a tunnel, open on one side to allow turning at corners. That model explains small anomalies, like a mysterious notch high on one edge. Today we test it with modern three-dimensional modeling and with microgravity scans, searching for hidden internal structure. The pyramids are not just big, they are also incredibly precise. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is a near-perfect square at its base. The sides are aligned almost perfectly with the four cardinal directions: north, south, east, west. The alignment is off by only a tiny fraction of a degree. This level of precision is astonishing for a structure built over 4,500 years ago. It tells us the pyramid builders were master surveyors and astronomers. Their planning and layout were as impressive as their construction methods. So how did they find true north so accurately? They did not have a magnetic compass. Instead, they used the stars, pole star method, tracking a single star as it rotates around the celestial pole. Solar gnomon method, tracking the shadow of a vertical stick to find the east-west line. Simultaneous transit method, observers watch two stars in the northern sky. Using a plumb line, they mark the moment both stars are in a perfect vertical line. That vertical line gives a true north-south direction. Once established, they determine east-west and set a perfect square. The next challenge was to make the base perfectly level. They cut trenches, filled them with water, marked the level, then cut the rock down to that line. The base is level to within just a few centimeters across 13 acres. Remarkable engineering. They maintained the slope so all four sides met perfectly at the apex, using A-frame levels, plumb lines, and precise corner control. While the outside is an impressive feat of construction, the inside is a marvel of complex engineering. The pyramids were not just solid piles of stone. They were built to house the body of the deceased king and everything he would need for the afterlife. Cross-section diagram of the Great Pyramid to orient the layout. It contains a network of passages and chambers at different levels. This includes the subterranean chamber, the so-called Queen's Chamber, and, at the heart, the King's Chamber. The journey begins through a low descending passage that leads to the unfinished subterranean chamber. Then, a new ascending passage branches off, leading upwards into the pyramid. This opens into the spectacular Grand Gallery, a long, tall, corbelled hallway. The precision is breathtaking. Its purpose is still debated. It may have stored massive granite blocks to seal passages after burial, or had a symbolic religious function. The King's Chamber is built entirely from huge Aswan granite blocks. Inside, it contains only one object, a granite sarcophagus, slightly larger than the entrance, so it was placed during construction. Above it, engineers built 5 small stress-relieving chambers to distribute the immense weight and prevent collapse. This is a very sophisticated engineering solution. The purpose was rooted in Egyptian religion, death as transition, the divine king's house for eternity, a machine for resurrection. The so-called air shafts likely served as symbolic passages for the king's soul to ascend to the stars. One of the most amazing things about the pyramids is that they are still here. They have survived for more than 4,500 years. They have endured earthquakes, sandstorms, changing climates, the rise and fall of countless empires. Why have they lasted so long when so many other ancient structures have crumbled to dust? The answer lies in 3 key factors: the material they were made from, the genius of their design, the environment in which they were built. First, the material is stone. The pyramids are built from limestone, granite, 2 very durable types of rock. Unlike wood, which rots, or mud brick, which dissolves in water, stone is incredibly resistant to decay. It can withstand immense pressure and is not easily worn away. The choice of multi-ton blocks interlocked so well gives enormous inertia. Second, the pyramid's stable geometry directs weight downwards and outwards, deflecting wind with sloping sides. Even after centuries of study, the pyramids still hold many secrets. But today, we have powerful new tools to help us look for answers. Modern science and technology let us explore in ways past generations could only dream of. We can now see inside the stones, scan beneath the sand, and analyze ancient materials with incredible precision. This new wave of exploration opens a new chapter. It is a very exciting time to be an Egyptologist. One promising technology is cosmic ray muon radiography. It sounds complex, but the idea is simple. Muons shower down from space. They pass through hundreds of feet of stone. Detectors track muon paths. A hidden chamber lets more muons through, creating an X-ray-like image without drilling. In 2017, Scan Pyramids found a large void above the Grand Gallery. We also used drones to build incredibly detailed 3D models of the pyramids and the whole Giza Plateau. These models let us study structures with millimeter accuracy. Ground-penetrating radar and thermal imaging help reveal features buried under the sand, like lost causeways or undiscovered tombs. We can analyze tiny traces of mortar to read their chemical makeup. All these techniques are non-invasive, protecting and preserving the sites. These tools help answer old questions and lead us to new ones. What is the purpose of the large void found by Scan Pyramids? Could other hidden chambers exist? Each discovery is a new piece of a giant puzzle. The pyramids are a story written in stone, and we are finally learning to read it. They remind us that human ingenuity, teamwork, and a powerful vision can create things that stand the test of time. Will we ever know all their secrets? Perhaps not. But the search for answers will inspire generations to come. This was not the work of magic or aliens. This was the work of the Egyptian people. Our understanding has grown, past the myths, guided by evidence. In stone and starlight, we read their story, and we're only at the beginning. Join us as we follow the evidence, one block at a time.